Hello everyone, this is razorflamekun, and I'm going to be playing Dr. Mario Online RX, which is a WiiWare game. Sadly, since it's a WiiWare game, it is no longer available for purchase because I think the WiiWare store's down. But I'm going to be doing Classic 0 to 10 for you. And just to note this, all categories for this game must be played on medium or higher. The other thing that you're going to be hearing is you're going to be hearing this music because it's my favorite. Anyways, we're going to go to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So the main thing that you're going to see that differentiates this game between the other games in the series is that there's a hard drop feature in this game. And that is significant because it allows you to go much faster than you normally would be able to. Other than that, this game is fairly not very taxing. It's a fun it's a fun casual game to play. Like just if you want to have a little bit of fun. Anyways, the one thing that you might not notice that I'm doing is I'm actually, like, even though my cursor is right about to hit the bottom of the, like right here, I still press it down to lock it in faster. Obvious goal of the game is to clear all the viruses. There's 3 different colors, and that is the main focus that you're going to see throughout this game, is that there's going to be a lot of pill RNG in this game, and if you're not familiar with that term, you're going to be by the end of this game for sure, because this game has a lot of RNG, as do most games of this series. Another thing you're going to notice is there's going to be a lot of tight turns, tight corridors you're going to see me go through just to get closer to what I consider an optimal move. And a lot of the time, that doesn't even actually come into play until when we're closer to where we're going to stop at this difficulty or category, which is the 0 level 10, is when you're about going to start seeing that. Maybe sooner than that. So far though, RNG has been fairly decent. Haven't had any... I had that one very, very minor mistake in level 1 or level 2, but that wasn't that big of a deal. Other than that, it's been pretty good so far in terms of my performance has been good and everything. So another thing you might notice is that I'm avoiding placing pills when they're very high up, because as you might have noticed, this game takes a while for pills to drop. Like, they can take a very long time to drop, and it's something that you want to avoid at all costs, because it does take time up that you don't want to end up doing. In terms of if you're interested in getting into this, the only way you'll probably be able to get this, unless you actually own the game already, is to play on emulator. It's up to you to find out how to do stuff regarding that. But that's the only way that I know of that you can play this game currently. Another thing that if you're interested in playing this game is a very good introduction to the Dr. Mario series. It's not too difficult. Compared to some of the earlier games, it's actually not that difficult at all, especially if you account for the hard drop that this game has. Because this game's hard drop really helps make this game a lot faster, and B, a lot more consistent, so long as you're good with the up button in this case, which is what the hard drop button is. In terms of average times, my average time is about 20 minutes. Estimate is 25 because I've had some runs go fairly long on me lately, but good news is all the practice runs I've done today have been well under estimates, so that's good news for the marathon. Another thing you might notice is that I'm trying to get as many different, like, I'm trying to get some, more than one virus cleared at a time. That's something that you really want to do, because if you don't, you can really, stages will just take more time. So that's one thing that you want to do. Always looking for ways to clear multiple viruses at the same time, like that, or ways to minimize the droppage of the viruses from high distance or high distances. Like that, I did the lower one first, and I did a top one so that the top one it didn't take the time that it would normally. Because on the last virus, it doesn't actually do the entire, it just do the entire clearing of the virus. It just ends the stage. So that's one thing that, one little bit of tech you can use to help get things done faster. Another thing is, sorry if my commentary is a little rambling, but I'm nervous. Even though this is like my 7th or 8th marathon, I'm still nervous. It's just part of a disability I have, and I'm learning to work through it. If anyone has any questions about this game or anything in general, feel free to ask them in chat, and hopefully Pioneer will be able to be a bro and help me by reading some of them later on. Anyways, right now is a good time for donations if you have any.
Unfortunately, we do not have any donations currently, but you can donate at the link in chat, and there are a few donation incentives and bid wars that you can put your donation towards as well.
Alright, so right here, this is the pill RNG I'm talking about. I got a pretty bad start there, although I managed to fix it fairly quickly. That's another skill that you have to have with this game, is you have to be able to roll with the punches. And if you're unable to do that, you're going to have a hard time speedrunning this game, because this game requires a lot of thinking on your feet. And if you're not good at that, this game's probably not cut out for you. But other than that, if you just want to play this casually, this game casually is very good. Just because of all the different features it has, that makes the game more fun, such as the hard drop feature, which this is the first title the hard drop feature has actually been. The first Dr. Mario title that the hard drop button has been in. Ooh. There you see, like I said, the first 10 levels are very non-threatening. It's more when you get into the higher levels, which unfortunately you won't see in this particular run, but if you go to speedrun.com and look for runs of this game, you'll see people, yeah, you'll see the higher levels that you have to play through, and some of them are pretty bad. They're not as bad as like the Game Boy version, which has viruses 3 rows from the top, which is like not good, because it literally only gives you 1 row to work with, or 3 rows to work with, but it gives you very little time to work with, very little room to work with, is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you'll see that I actually go for horizontal instead of vertical clears. Sometimes it's more advantageous to do the horizontal clears, or the vertical clears than the horizontal clears. Okay, good. Didn't overshoot it. The game's controls are little odd. You'll have to get used to them, but after you get used to them, they're really fun. They tend to slip a little bit, and that's the only concern that I have with the controls, is that they are a little slippery at times. Anyways, we are actually coming up towards the end of this run already. We are just, I want to say, yeah, we're 8, 9, 10, so we're very close to the end. This is a short category. I also did submit a longer category, but it didn't make it in, and that's fine. But this category is really nice and short and sweet, and gives you a great introduction to the game. Another thing that you might have seen is that sometimes you get these towers on the right or left. You want to try and avoid getting these as much as possible, because they actually can hurt, can like make things go a lot slower. So I do try and avoid them from time to time, but sometimes it's just not possible with the way that the level is set up. Alright, this is good. So there I was able to clear out pretty much everything that needed to be cleared out. So now you just have the red and the blue. And the red's going to take a bit of digging to get out. And that's something you want to avoid at all costs, is digging. You don't want to have to dig in this game. Anyways, we're almost done with 8. Then we just have 9 and 10 left. And I just reflexively split. So there's some pretty fancy moves you can do if you really want to, but more than likely it's actually going to take longer to do the fancy moves than the non-fancy moves. I try to avoid them, because if you mess them up, you can get yourself in a world of hurt pretty quickly. If there's any donations, or if there are any chat has any questions, feel free to read them off now.
Nothing as of right now, but I'll let you know if anything comes up.
Okay, cool. Got another tower that I have to deal with. Don't know what it is with me in towers today, but like I said, they're not. You don't want to. You do not want to have to deal with them. And like that's another example of really good. If you get really good luck with the types of pills you get, you can do some really good plays like that. Like I said, the goal is to get rid of all the viruses as quickly as possible. Now let's get that, like that, that. And that's level 9 done. Time is going to be when the last virus is cleared on this level. Time. And that is Dr. Mario Online RX Classic 0 to 10 for you. Just want to say if you're interested in running this game, you can check the speedrun.com page for this game, and you can go to the Puzzle General Discord if you have any other further questions. Other than that, I'm going to be playing another game for you next, and that is called Dungeon Hearts. I'm going to be playing a hard difficulty for you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to talk nearly as much during that run as I did this run. I'll make sure to get all the explanations out of the way, but this is the run that's going to take the most concentration out of me, so I'll see you guys shortly for that.